Will conservatives across the country interpret the results of the race in the New York 23rd District to mean it's time for the right wing, the far right of the party, to dominate? And if so, which moderate Republicans are on the hit list? Count Chocula is the president of the Club for Growth, which supports fiscally conservative candidates. Michael Smerconish is a suburbanite from Philadelphia who represents regular people. He's our political analyst on MSNBC. Gentlemen, thank you. Mr. Chocula, let me ask you this about the coming fights without his signing nasty uniforms to either side. I believe that the right wing of the Republican Party is going to go like driver ants down to Florida after Charlie Crist, the governor, and try to knock him out in favor of Rubio, the former speaker down there, so that he'll be their nominee for Senate, because they don't think Charlie's right wing enough. That's what I think's next on the hit list of your right wing party, folks.
Well, Chris, I think that certainly the Rubio-Crist contest is a important one. I think that Marco Rubio is a very attractive candidate for all the right reasons. But, you can't say that New York 23 is the reason that people are focused on this race, because, in New York 23 there was no moderate Republican to talk about. The Republican, Didi Scozafava, was right or left of the Democrats. So it's not a good test to say that, the struggle in the Republican Party is on display today. Virginia, New Jersey, and New York have nothing to do with the struggle in the Republican Party. What today is all about is the voters, and really a mandate on the Obama agenda so far since he's been in office. But certainly Rubio is a very attractive candidate, and I think he will attract conservative voters.
But let me ask you one last time, because I guess we disagree, which is fine. I think there's blood in the water. I think when you kill somebody politically that didn't expect to get killed because the whole party establishment had backed Scozafava up there, when you see the power to knock out an incumbent with a conservative candidate with a capital C, not even a party candidate, then you see that power nationwide where everybody's going to see this week. I think, and challenge me on this if you really want to challenge me, they're going to say, wait a minute, we're going for bigger fish now, and that's Charlie Crist.
Well, Chris,
am I wrong?
The Republican establishment did not pick Didi Scozafava. 11 guys in a room picked Didi Scozafava. So this was not a battle. Florida could be a battle between moderate Republicans and conservative Republicans. But, I think the center of the electorate, Chris, believes in limited government, and they believe in being tolerant on social issues. That's where the vast majority of voters are. I think that the lesson today is that if you stand unapologetically for conservative economic issues, pro-growth issues, and you match your district or your state on social issues, you'll win, whether you're a conservative or a moderate Republican.
Okay, good. Is that true the way you see it in Pennsylvania and states of the Northeast? Are the Republican people on the far right, not conservatives, but far right, gunning for people like Arlen Specter, Link Chafee, and ready to knock them out of the party? And now gunning for Olympia Snowe up in Maine. Michael Smerconish, are they in trouble with the hard right?
Well, I think that in the morning, conservatives will be appropriately thumping their chests because of that victory in the 23rd of New York to which you refer. But I think it's the wrong lesson, Chris, because the Republican Party now with 21% of Americans saying, yes, this is the party to which I belong. It's not the time that they should be deciding who among them are fit to survive. It's a time when they ought to be reaching out toward the middle. And this is the exact opposite. And it may be a strategy that wins in select House districts, perhaps even a senatorial race or two. But nationwide, remember what Barack Obama did. He assembled a coalition of suburbanites who stood for a strong national defense, fiscal responsibility, but moderation on those social issues. And in the end, that's where this strategy is going to fail.
Let's take a look at a race. Let's look at a comment, Congressman. I want you to check this comment by Tim Pawlenty, who's no right-winger. But watch what he said when asked about the party regularity and loyalty of Olympia Snowe. I think there is something in the wind right now. I don't think he would have said this 2 weeks ago. Here's Tim Pawlenty, the governor of Minnesota.
If Olympia Snowe disagrees with us on one or two things, there's room for her, of course. There is a range of behavior and issue positions we can accept and celebrate in the party, and there's room for all of that. But you can't be so far out of that range that you become Didi Scozafava.
So how do you read that, Congressman?
Well, there's room in the Republican Party for Olympia Snowe. We at the Club for Growth really don't care if people are Republicans or Democrats. We just care what their position are on economic issues. We look for champions of economic freedom.
Okay, if she backs the health care bill in the end because it's got a trigger on it or something that she can accept in terms of the public option, where will you be on her?
Well, we've already run ads in Maine targeting Olympia Snowe, trying to persuade her not to support the Obama health care plan. So we disagree with her on that issue, clearly, and we would be opposed to her voting for that.
Would you knock her off the way that Arlen Specter was drummed out of the Republican Party of Pennsylvania by the Club for Growth?
Well, Chris, we take our endorsements very seriously. We have to have many things in place. We have to have a candidate that supports our issues. We have to have a candidate that's viable. We have to have somebody that we probably oppose, a distinction between the candidates. But, every race is different, and we have to have candidates that we think can win based on our issues. And again, we think that's pretty broad-based when you look at the center of the electorate.
What do you make of the Club for Growth, Michael? Are they strictly focusing on economic issues, or do they go over and focus on how you vote on gay marriage, or how you focus on abortion rights or guns or things like that?
Well, Chris, it seems to me their objectives are not the same as the Republican Party. Political parties exist for one purpose: to win elections. And the Republican Party should have absolutely no litmus tests. Much of what the Club for Growth stands for, I think, resonates with most Republicans. But this idea that Olympia Snowe would be drummed out of the GOP because of how she might vote on a couple of issues. And let's realize what's going on with Governor Pawlenty. It's the same old process where one seeks the nomination of the GOP, they shift to the right. Rudy Giuliani did it. Mitt Romney did it. And what that does is yield a candidate who can win a nomination, but not a general election. It's time for the Republican Party to decide, do they want to win general elections, or do they want to strengthen the nomination process by expanding the tent? Right now, they're focused on nominating people who can't win.
Your response, Mr. Chocula, briefly.
The Club for Growth is focused solely on economic issues, and we have supported Republicans, we've supported Democrats, we've now supported an independent third-party candidate. We simply think that economic issues are broad-based. Being for limited government, fiscal responsibility, and personal responsibility are not fringe issues. They're not fringe
so you're
positions.
Not in with
the
last question. Here's my litmus test. Are you pushing homeschooling?
We don't know. We support school choice.
No, but
that's
homeschooling, where you don't go to public school because you don't want to mix with other people. You want to keep the kids at home so you can teach them about life at home, away from the exposure of other social groups. Are you for that? Because that would be, I would consider that culturally conservative at least.
We do not push homeschooling. We support school choice. We think parents are the ones that are the best in a position to make a decision about the education for their children.
Mr. Chocula, I'm with you on school choice. Thank you, sir, very much. Michael Smerconish says, as always, go Phillies. If I can say it louder, I will be on the D train to Subway tomorrow night going up to the Bronx wearing my Phillies hat. If anything happens to me, look for me. Anyway, up next, it's going to be a late night in New York tonight.